they were excited when it was their turn to come to computer science. They got to get the codex and they're like, oh, I saw so-and-so with this and I saw what they did with this. I can't wait to get my hands on it too. My name is Perez, and I've been teaching now for 11 years. I teach 8th grade physical science, 7th grade life science, and now 8th grade computer science. I've taught computer science now for about 3 years. Madison County School System called all the computer science teachers in to learn about Firia Lab's codexes. And before that, I had been using code.org curriculum for my computer science program. And they learned how to drag and drop with block coding, but they didn't really have much tangible things that they could use in computer science. So when we went to this training for the codex, it was really interesting to see that my students could not only see true Python coding and actually type in code and learn a code language, but also could have a physical device that they could see the result of their code right there on the device. And so that was my first time that I was impacted by Firia Labs. Then I just recently started my first training with the code bots, and so we're going to start using those this year. So before, when we were using code.org or other block drag and drop programs, they could see maybe a little screen that would show the result of their code in maybe like a game that they have created or an app that they had created. And it was there on their screen and they were pretty pleased with that. But when they could actually get a tangible device like a codex and they could program it to flash its lights, to play music, to make their own game, to make it solve math problems for them, then they started to get creative and they started to get very proud with what they had made. And so what I would see is they would come to computer science and maybe do the assignment or the lesson or the mission that they're on at that time, but then they would get creative, make their own things, and they would show their friends and they would show their teachers from the other classes and say, look what I just made, listen to this, play this music, and the other kids would get really proud and want that as well. And so they were excited when it was their turn to come to computer science. They got to get the codex and they're like, oh, I saw so-and-so with this and I saw what they did with this. I can't wait to get my hands on it too. So with CodeSpace, what I've seen is they can see the missions, and the missions have real life applications. And so there's some that are like, this is how a blinker in a car works. This is how a digital sign works. And so that brings in that real world application to coding that sometimes kids don't understand or overlook. And so when they get to that mission of, you're actually going to make this physical device blink, and just like a blinker in a car, then they start to see the real life application and see, oh my goodness, I just did something that real life engineers are doing every day at work, and this is how this works in the real world. And then I also noticed that they can take those same missions and remix them and make them their own. And so I've seen students make their own signs and text and games and things on the codexes that were not on any mission because they have seen these tools and taken those tools and then made it their own. I had one student last year who made his own just entire code that made a game, first of all, but then he also made something that was going to solve whatever they were working on in math at the time to solve their math problems for them. And it was some fancy coding that I did not understand and some fancy math that I definitely did not understand. And he showed me and he was so proud of it, showed his math teacher, she was so proud, showed his friends, they were so proud. Just having that individualized approach where not only can they see that real world application, but also take it and make it their own and see what they can make further and remix further was really awesome with the codexes. In 8th grade computer science, I have students of all ability levels. And what I've seen is not only are these high achieving students who are very interested in the STEM disciplines, making these things, enjoying these things, using coding, and like I said, making their own games and remixes. But what I've noticed, and I was very just emotional about, is these kids who have dyslexia or special needs have taken coding and ran with it. On a day-to-day basis, these students don't have a lot of wins. So maybe they're in an intervention group that they don't get to do the fun stuff because they've got to really nail down reading. They've got to really nail down these math skills. And so they are just all day long having to do this academic work that is really strenuous and sometimes very frustrating for them, and they don't get a lot of wins. And so when they come to computer science, kind of everybody's on the same level because nobody's ever had computer science before. And so with this new language, it's almost like their brains, the way that it works, they can visualize it and they see this code here. They're like, okay, this code is here and this is showing this on my codex, and I can see the connection, and I can see that if I change this here, this on my codex shows this. And they are proud of their work, and they are doing it in such amazing ways that they get these wins and these compliments, and they feel successful, when in some of our other academic programs they might not always feel that way. And so when they come to computer science and they see, here's this tangible thing that I can hold, when sometimes in academic world, like in math and reading, it's not tangible like that. And so our students with dyslexia and special needs, they love to hold things and to see it, and to not only have that code that they can change and have it physically there in their hands, but they get to have those successes and those wins and feel good about it when they've made something work on their codex.